You're listening to an XN Radio podcast.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Moody&D, Arc 4. Now, last we left off, the party had chased Kuza from the Tuzarek clan, starting in Arc 3, to the Visela clan, where he retrieved a vial of blood from an individual that was known as a regenerator. He then, his body parts of Kuza, as they call him.
It's a great name.
Did that. The body parts of Kuza then escaped with the vial of blood, the child Durek dying in the process, the child they stole the blood from. Dying in the process. They then followed the tracks to a space that was a split between the Orvisol and Kelvrad tribes, deciding to head for Kelvrad, imagining that if they had already gone to Orvisol, it was too late. They went to Kelvrad, actually acquired another person to come with them, and went to Orvisol, tracked down the body parts of Kuza and Kuza himself, performing a ritual which seemingly went awry. Not a failure, but it went awry.
Yeah.
As the party destroyed various different shard bone wands in a mechanism which was holding Kuza aloft. Kuza sprouted these like gem-like blue wings and flew off into the sky, escaping the aftermath below him. Also, however, being chased by a golden spectral Kazarash, which Adra seized control of from, I believe it was...
Shalek, right?
Yeah, no, I think it was Sertho.
Okay. It's been a minute, folks.
It's been a while. Seized control of the dragon, which was eventually destroyed. Kuza escaped, but the party did manage to kill Jalek. One of the body parts of Kuza definitively dead. Sertho, hogtied and bound and cannot escape because he has to roll a natural 20 to get out.
Which
he's not gonna do.
Not happening.
And in the aftermath, Adra, you look around at your fellow party members, and immediately you feel a sharp pain in the side of your neck. I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, no. And I didn't, it's not smooth. Here we go. Ooh. That's not going to be great. Constitution saving?
Uh-huh.
That's 5.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Adra, your vision goes dark.
Okay.
You don't feel your body drop, but I'm going to tell our audience that Adra falls unconscious.
Okay.
Adra, you open your eyes and you are almost in the fetal position, holding half a dagger, sort of thumbing the pommel as you have it in reverse grip. And you hear a voice that you have not heard in forever. Adra, where are you?
Mama?
And you hear another voice as a male lizard folk rounds a corner. You realize you're sitting in these bushes. It's like there's a fog of a memory in the back of your head of hearing an Adra, where are you? And then you hear a male voice come around and say, what are you doing hiding behind the bushes? And that almost pings a deja vu like effect, but it's not quite. It's like a fog of a memory, as if you were looking at something that maybe you had once known behind this tinted glass. But that's not real. This is the real memory. You're experiencing it for the first time. It's that weird deja vu effect. You've had this before.
Yeah.
You see your father round the corner, the one who said, "What are you doing hiding in the bushes?" And your mother comes around the corner as well.
Sorry, point of clarification.
Yes.
I'm Adra with like current memories of what all just happened, or
You are Adra. You kind of remember it, but it's really, you can't quite recall where you just came from, where
Yeah.
you were. It's like that effect in a dream where you might be jumping from part to part to part,
yeah.
but you don't really have a recollection of what happened last. So it's pinging this deja vu like effect, but you don't exactly remember where you are. You just remember, I'm Adra. I'm from Kaizo. I've been able to change the color of my scales since I was very, very young, and these are the people who celebrated that I was able to do that.
Yeah. I was trying to play a game. You found me.
Is it then our time to hide?
Yes, but I have to tell you that it's going to be a lot easier for me because you can't change your scales.
Well, you have won this game a lot in the past.
She just kind of looks all bashful.
Mm-hmm. Your father says to you again, "What are you doing hiding in the bushes?" And you immediately ping, you're like, that's kind of an irregular behavior, but the question is still there.
She's gonna look down and see the dagger in her hand.
Where did you get that?
I don't know. It means some. It's half dagger. It's not enough. It can't do anything.
Make an intelligence check for me.
Check. Ooh, that was a natural 19. Intelligence. Wow, I cannot. Alphabetical. I see intimidation, investigation, insight.
Intelligence as in just your skill. Just the
Got
ability.
it. I was like, I don't. I'm looking on
Guys,
the skills list.
Guys, it's so late at night.
It's so late. Okay, that's a 22.
22, okay.
Yeah.
Something's off here. You're not quite sure what. Something has felt a little bit off since the beginning. And you start to clock, oh, your parents are the same age they were when you were like 5 or 6. Like very, very young.
Yeah.
But you're older. You're 16-year-old Adra. And it's subtle enough, but there's a discrepancy in your mind that you're like, wait, hold on. But now you're back in it. And the question that's just been posed to you is, what are you doing hiding behind the bushes?
I had to get away.
Your mother kneels down next to you and grabs your hand. From what?
I just needed a moment. Mama, he looks so pretty.
Oh, thank you, my daughter. You are pretty too. I can
don't
see
know.
your father in your eyes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Some kids think that this, and she's gonna hold up her hand with the vitiligo on it.
Mm-hmm.
They said that it makes me funny. That something's wrong with me. It's not enough.
Enough for what?
She will make her scales change to like match her mother's.
Yes. Yeah. And your mom is more of like she's more of like a greenish color.
Ah. There. Now I'm enough.
You are always enough. The color is not what makes you enough. I need you to I'm going to give you something here, and I need you to just tell me. There is a part of you that knows there's something here, something that your mother could say. And that you know she would say, but there's something in you. And this is a subconscious thing. It's so deep. Like, this is not a conscious thought you have. You know there's something that she could say, something that maybe you once knew but is lost. Something you had once heard that is lost. You can choose right now to let that come through, or you can choose to keep it back.
Point of technicality.
Yeah.
How much of this, like with it not knowing that something is off,
Yeah.
that feeling like, when something's off and it's like you can choose to kind of live in the reality of it being off and things will be happy, versus like if you choose to poke at it, things will start to, you just know that like if I go down this road, something is going to be bad. Like, how conscious is she of that?
You make an insight check for me.
Okay. Because basically what I want to know is like, I want to make a almost like a wisdom saving throw of like, if she knows that like, oh, if I go down this path, it's gonna break a bit of the illusion, and just kind of, I don't know, it's her parent, like,
yeah.
So insight check first.
Well, let's start with an insight check.
Okay. That is 15.
With a 15, you don't necessarily think, like, there's not an inkling in your brain that letting this loose will be bad. It just seems like something that's lost, that you have the opportunity to draw to the foreground here.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I would say if there's not this feeling of like foreboding or like, then I think we'll let it loose.
Okay. Your mother is holding your hand and she says, "It is just like my mom."
Really?
And there's a snap. And you're not in the bushes anymore. You're in Kaizo, actually, just a little bit outside, still in the space that's considered part of Kaizo. And you hear that exact same phrase again coming from your mother. "It is just like my mom," except your mom appears much taller to you because you are much younger.
Yeah.
And as you see this, your mom says to you, "Let us play a game." And she begins playing a game with you where she teaches you how to change your scales, how to shift the color, how to gain control over that. And it's like you're learning it for the first time again.
Yeah.
And then everything goes black. And you open your eyes. And you're holding the half dagger, and you're thumbing the pommel, and you're behind the bush again. And you hear, "Adra? Where are you?" You know this voice.
Yeah. "But you can't find me."
You're probably right. And you hear just this lizard folk shaped. You don't even, it's not like you can hear the lizard folk shape, but you can.
Yeah.
You hear the tail dragging on the ground, stomping past you, walks a little bit past you, and just sort of stops.
Switch into my normal color.
Yeah.
You always have to look for the shape, remember? I can change the color, but I cannot like completely blend.
Right. What are you doing hiding behind the bushes?
I'm hiding. Obviously.
Why?
I needed to get away. It's half dagger, see? It's not enough.
Not enough for what?
It's not enough. Yeah, I mean, you can't stab with it, right? It is useless. It's a half dagger.
It seems pretty pointy to me.
On half of it, Ima. But you can't do anything with a half dagger.
Maybe there are things you can do with a half dagger that you can't do with a whole one.
Yeah. But you have to be very creative. And most people will just look at it and think that it's trash.
I think you can do something with it.
I mean, or I could just turn invisible right now.
Why would you do that?
It's not enough.
What makes it enough?
I'm a... You know.
No, I really don't.
No, you really don't.
What makes it enough?
It has to be whole. You know? That's what makes it enough. If it's good and if it's right and if it's whole and if it's perfect and if everyone accepts it and keeps it and doesn't leave it, and you know, it's enough.
Everyone? You feel again this pushing, like there's something that is fighting that could come out now, and you have the choice to release it.
Yeah.
You choose to release it, and all of a sudden you're back in the dungeon, and Ima is holding up a spiked ball.
Ima, what are you doing?
Saving you. And your vision goes black. You wake up behind the bushes, thumbing the pommel of a half dagger. And you hear, Adra, where are you? You know this voice.
Yeah.
It's your uncle.
What do you want?
Where are you? And he sort of tromps around.
I'm going to stick my foot out and try and trip him.
Yeah, 100%. We'll call that make an attack roll.
Okay.
Actually, we'll say make an athletics check.
Okay.
Because we'll call this an attempted shove.
Okay. 13.
Okay. I mean, that beats a natural, too.
Hey.
He falls flat on his face. You see the, like the dark red, like maroon brown scales just face down in the dirt.
You look ridiculous.
You always had a knack for making me look ridiculous.
Well, it's not my fault. You make it so easy. I don't know what to tell you.
I cannot disagree with you.
Hi. What do you need? Huh?
What are you doing hiding behind the bushes?
I needed to get away.
From what? You know me. You can trust me.
Some of the kids. Yeah. They were talking and I was, to be fair, hiding because they didn't see me. And they said that the reason that mom and dad are gone, that they died, because no one, I mean, look at this. It's not enough.
What do you mean? How could that be related to them? What happened to them was an accident. That's not on you. I realize now I'm doing Tor's voice. That is not on you.
Yeah, but if they loved me enough, they could have stayed, right? They could have fought harder to hang on to life.
Adra, sometimes you can't fight anymore. There's no amount of fight and love for those around you that keeps you from dying when you are crushed. Sometimes love is not what keeps people alive. But that doesn't mean it didn't exist. That doesn't mean that it wasn't there. Unfortunately, this world is cruel. And love isn't always enough. Sometimes you need canny, which you have. Trust me, I've seen it. You get answers out of Keseresh.
I mean, he likes me, so what can I say?
There's something pushing.
She's going to hesitate just a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to let it go. Okay.
You let it through?
Yeah.
You are back in Kaizo. You know this night. You know this night. You never forgot this night. Because every single time you looked back on this night, you thought, is there anything I could have done that got him to stay? And there's another thing pushing. You can let it in. Do you want to make a wisdom saving throw? Or do you want to make this decision yourself? I'll give you either option.
Oh. I want to make it myself.
Okay.
I think in this moment, subconsciously or whatever, like Adra very, very vividly remembers this night and just the rage.
Yeah.
And the hurt and just the devastation. And it was just all that she could do. And how she went and found, we'll say Kizak. And she just socked him for no reason.
Yeah.
Because he happened to like walk too close and accidentally like shoulder check her. Not hard.
Yeah.
But just decked him.
Yeah.
But this time, something says just let it through. Okay.
And you snap back to a moment that you're talking with Korth, your uncle. And you're having almost verbatim the conversation you just had. And it's just this vignette, almost as if the entire conversation is muffled, but this one phrase gets through. Sometimes love is not enough to keep them here. It doesn't mean it wasn't there. You have half a second now to have a thought.
I forgive. Yeah. It makes sense. I think it just like reshifts a lot of like that that acceptance of that phrase kind of starts to reframe some of the like history that she's had.
Yep.
Yeah.
And as you let that reshape it, it's almost like now viewing it back, there's space for you to remember something in that moment that you were so blinded by fury that you couldn't remember in that moment when it actually happened. And from that space, you snap back to the morning that you realized he was gone. And your vision goes dark. You wake up in the bushes, thumbing the pommel of a half dagger. And you hear a voice. Adra, where are you? And that deja vu effect pings, but this time it's stronger. Because this is the right voice. This is the voice that actually belongs with this memory. It's Vitoka.
I'm here in the bushes. This time she's gonna stand.
Yeah.
Or before Vitoka had to find her.
What are you doing behind the bushes?
Do you ever think that maybe what you thought was reality has shifted? That I'm probably not making any sense. What love can do, what hope can do. I mean, look, it's a half dagger.
Adra? What are you doing hiding? And he doesn't finish the rest of the sentence that you have heard repeatedly.
It's what I do. I'm good at hiding. It's easy because you don't have to deal with things. But I don't want to hide anymore. Oh, it's gonna hurt. I don't want it to hurt.
Vitoka walks over to you, grabs you by the hand, and says, "You do not need relief from every pain. There is good pain. There is growing pain." Make a perception check for me.
19.
There's a shadow of a tree behind you that's being cast on the ground.
Turn towards it.
The shadow's getting bigger. Black. You wake up. Not in the bushes. Not in the bushes. You wake up in Kaizo. It's a couple months after Emma's death. Everything was just a horrible dream. Breton was never real. Klaus never came back. The tunnel that Kuza left was sealed up weeks ago. They figured out that the tunnel led up to the surface eventually. The Underlight was entirely imagined. What do you do? It's late at night. You have any space within the temple where you would normally rest? There's some moonlight cascading in.
Yeah. I'm gonna go. Sorry, my brain is forgetting right now. You might have this faster.
Yeah. What
Parents died tree falling.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Your parents were crushed by a tree.
I'm gonna go to that spot.
You're gonna go to the spot where they were crushed by a tree.
Yeah.
You walk out. There's a part of your mind that actually knows this space, because this is after Emma's death. You went out. You explored. You know roughly where it is.
Yeah.
As you're walking there, make a perception check for me.
15.
On a 15, as you're getting near there, you hear these screeches, pained, gut-wrenching screeches. Ah! Ah! You hear those as you're making your way there.
Is the sound coming towards the tree, or like where I'm headed?
Coming from the direction you're heading.
Do I recognize is the screeching, the screaming familiar sound, or is it?
As you're getting there, it is familiar. It's again that deja vu pain.
Yeah.
You're not sure why you remember it. But you know you do. You're making your way towards the tree. You see sort of through the underbrush. You don't have line of sight. You're maybe 70, 80 feet out. Thrashing wings, blue gem wings. There's a ping. You're like, wait, that's not supposed to exist. That didn't happen. But they're right there. And there's this fear that wells up immediately.
Yeah.
I need you to make 2 checks for me.
Okay.
I need you to make 1 wisdom saving throw and another wisdom saving throw.
Was a nat 1 on the first wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
And the second one, wisdom. 14.
The second one was a 14.
Yeah.
Okay. The first one, immediately there's fright, there's shock, it's overwhelming. Make an intelligence check for me.
A 5. I rolled a natural 2.
5. Okay. You don't remember. Do you have any adversity points you want to spend on it?
I have 1 left over from last game.
Don't bother.
Yeah.
Don't bother.
Yeah.
Take adversity points for take 2 for the failed wisdom save. Take 1 for the failed. I hate adding game mechanics for this, but they're needed. The fear wells up. It's overwhelming. And the second one, there's part of your mind that you hear the screech, you hear the shout, and there's part of your mind that is fighting not to hear pain in it.
Okay.
On a 14, you are just below the threshold to override your mind, which is trying not to hear the pain. If you tip it to a 15, you will hear the pain. It's your choice. It is entirely in your hands. You can choose to hear pain, or you can choose to hear anger and fury and hatred. in the screech.
That half dagger isn't on me, is it? Is it like the underlight never happened?
It never happened.
Okay.
Actually, make a luck check for me.
Okay. 17.
It's by your side.
We'll take an adversity point. Make it a 15.
Okay.
Wisdom check.
You hear the pain. You hear the screech, which you know is angry. You know it's furious. You surely it must be. But you know the pain. You hear the pain. It's in there. I want you to make an insight check.
13.
It's an indecisive pain. It's that pain of you've been hurt for something that part of you maybe thinks is wrong and part of you maybe doesn't. And it's the pain of not knowing whether this is pain that will lead to regret or pain that will lead to greater fury. You're 70 feet away. What are you doing?
I'm going to draw an arrow.
Okay. Knock.
Yeah. And I'm going to walk till I'm about 40 feet from it.
Okay. You're 40 feet. You still can't see the full thing. There's still some underbrush, but you can see a good chunk of it. You know this face. You know it. You recognize that this is Kuza. Just enough. You can see the lines so intricately burned into your memory.
Mm-hmm.
You know it's Kuza. Trapped under a tree.
I'm gonna walk close enough, like if there's a way to kind of like walk around.
Yep. You make a perimeter.
Yeah, but also get close enough. I want to be able to look Kuza in the eyes.
Yeah.
But also like checking to make sure he's really trapped under that.
Yeah. No, you make a we'll say make a perception check, then make an investigation check.
Okay. 22 for perception.
Okay.
Investigation, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Natural 19. Oh my gosh, 28.
Yeah.
How high?
The perception check, you catch his eye. Investigation check. That being, you don't even know if you can call it a man anymore, but that being, that's trapped. And as you catch his eye, he just says, "Help!" And it rings out. There's this reverberation. Sound doesn't behave this way, but it does in this mindset. And part of you is like, why the heck would I help? And another part of your brain is like, he would call my name if he knew it. This guy has ruined my life. And he doesn't even know my name. And there's another part of your brain that knows that he needs help. That hears pain and, like you had explained to Vitoka moments later, where your entire worldview shifted, almost as if your history shifted, almost as if your past shifted. You remember the screech you heard in this faded non-memory memory of seeing Kuza transform into what lies before you, hearing the screech that it produced as it flew away. And that same pain is almost written back, like your mind's been opened to it.
I'm gonna acknowledge that pain. And then as she hesitates, she like starts to unlock the arrow and looks down and sees the bracers of Ima. And then she's gonna resolve, walk within 10 feet, knock the arrow and put it right between his eyes. You don't deserve my help.
And you hear immediately this response. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm not even asking for mercy. Just give me pity.
Really? What was your pity when I most needed? What was your pity when the, not Tuzrak.
No, Tuzrak. Or Visalok?
Visalok.
Yeah.
When the Visalok clan, your own people who raised you, needed help.
That's Tuzrak.
Tuzrak, okay, sorry.
No, you were right.
The Tuzrak clan. You don't deserve any of our help or pity. But yet I've seen it. You've already been given it. It doesn't make any sense. You don't deserve it. And as she's saying that, the tension on the arrow starts to loosen a little bit. You don't deserve it. And she's just gonna let the arrow go. You don't deserve it. She's gonna reach out her hand.
He tentatively reaches out his own and grabs yours.
She's gonna try and start pulling him.
He reaches up around the log to try and roll it off the rest of his body. You can hear his bones breaking. As the log rolls off, his arm is shattered. He's never going to be able to use that arm again. And your vision goes black. And there's this blackness that just fills. There's a difference between seeing black and being in black. And you're in black. As there is just nothing around you. There's no one, no sound, no sight. There's not even sense. There's no touch. You're not on the ground. You're not in a space. You just are there.
Don't know what you want. I tried. You really want me to forgive and give pity? I can't. It will take everything. It's like more than everything. I can't do it. What do you want?
Your words echo out into nothing. And far, far on the horizon appears this point of light. And then another, and then another, and then another, and then another. And they speed up, gradually appearing more and more and more and more and more and more rapidly until you are surrounded by what you know to be a sky of stars. The stars that you know. You see planets forming. You see the twin suns that grace the sky of Dakaya. You see a world that you recognize kind of from the map. You see creation unfold before you. The entirety of space. Everything that has been and everything that immaterial ever will be. And I want you to tell me what Adra thinks as she sees this immense space fold out before her. This everything that all of a sudden reveals to her how cosmically small she is.
I think it's a lot of just awe, speechlessness, overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But in it, just like in seeing the immensity and the light and the beauty of it all, also realizing the parts that make it beautiful. Right there, if she looks at the world, there is light and there's beauty, but there's also like darkness and barren parts, and how it all comes together and it looks, and that's what makes it beautiful as a whole. That's what makes it awe-inspiring as a whole. That's what makes it overwhelming, is all of it blended together.
Yeah. And if I may, as you stare out into this, it's this weird effect of you're instantaneously so far away, but you are so immensely aware of the fact that not a single creature on the planets you see before you was half created. And you can't feel it, you don't see it, but you know it's there. This thought of a half dagger. And there's just a moment where you think, you know, daggers aren't made in halves. They're made whole. Someone else made it half. But in reality, there was a whole dagger, and there is a whole dagger. Sure, Ka was only selling the left half, but there's a right half somewhere. And there is a being who can join them.
I think for the first time in a long time, there will be an actual peaceful smile come across Adra's face. There's been smiles of masking pain. There's been smiles of making fun of people. There has been smiles of watching other people enjoy life.
Yeah.
Right. But I think for the first time in a really long time, she smiles, and she smiles out of the pure joy that she has within herself, and the peace and the love and the acceptance and the understanding that all comes with that. And it's like this breath of fresh air, this release, this almost as if like when you've been holding your breath for a really long time, and to be able to just breathe out and let it go.
Yeah. And as this exhale leaves not your body, but you, your vision goes black. And that's where we're going to end this episode of Moody&D. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye, friends.
Bye.
Thank you all for joining us this week on Moody&D. You can catch our live stream on XN Radio at xnradio.cc or on the XN Radio app every Saturday at 2 p.m. CST. Or you can pop on over to our Spotify or Apple Podcasts to catch the episode the following Monday at 10 a.m. CST. Also be sure to follow our Instagram at Moody_N_D. Once again, that's the @ symbol, Moody_N_D. That's all for this week, folks. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye, friends.